everybody. I said, hey, everybody. I said, hey, everybody. It's the dugcast. Yeah. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing out there in the internet's land? Uh-oh, loaded my speakers already. Hope y'all's doing good. I'm doing alright. It's a pretty nice day here. We got quite a few people in the chat. We've got Dave. We've got Ashton Jackal. We've got Pocket Jack Comics. We got Midnight Cherry. We got Radka. We got Tonic Mole. I hope y'all's doing great. Got a good room full of people here. Y'all's good people. The kind of people I likes. Which, you know, I'm not hard to get along with. If you're a decent person, then, you know, I pretty much get along with you. So, let's see what's going on here in the chat. Dave says that he just ate Scrapple, which is gross. That's like where you take the head of the pig and you take the brains and all that stuff and you make what some people here in the South, we call it souse meat. Some people call it head cheese. It's really gross, and you're gross, Dave. Pocket Jack's Comics says White Lily 4 on Indiegogo. Go check that out. He's cranking out books. He's got another book coming out before long. Guinevere and the Divinity Factory. Got a fun show if you just want to keep up with the ridiculousness that goes on in Comicsgate. I get a good kick out of that show, so go check that out. Midnight Cherry has my favorite history show on YouTube. If you want to see what went on today in history, then you need to go and check that out. It's a great show. And of course, there's Tonic Mole. He says, hey. And Pocket Jack Comics says, someone needs to show me how to broadcast with a green screen. I don't know what you use to stream with, but I'm using Streamlabs. And it's not super hard to set up. I mean, if I can figure it out, anybody can. The worst part is having the good lighting. And as you can tell, my lighting's not that great. And that's why my hands and my beard will disappear in my face. You just got to get your lights good. If I lean up close, it does all right. Of course, you know, my beard got stuff in it. You don't have a history show. I watched one the other day. I don't care what people say, as I enjoy the history show, and it's fun to watch. It's one of my favorite things. So, you know, I've been trying to catch up on my comic book reading. I've had a whole stack of stuff, and yesterday we talked about Walmart Part 2 and Movie Men by Jeremy Lott. Good stuff. A lot of fun. We got Matt C in the chat. His book just come out. It's shipping. I made sure to get a copy from him. If you're like me and you miss out on some of these Indiegogos, always message the creator, because most creators they have extras. So I made sure to hit him up and get an extra. I did the same thing with Nasser's book, because, you know, this time of year it's hard to get a hold of. Freddie Primo says, Doug, you're still lost in space, I see. Yeah, you know, that's just how it is. I'm actually become like an omniscient being, and I can see all and do all from space. Your mind, if your mind was on the right wavelength, you would be able to just pick this up telekinetically, but you can't, so you have to use YouTube. Ashton Jackal says, what did Matt C make? He made Kyrie. I don't know if I'm saying that right. We'll talk about it here in a few days when I get it, because I'm going to read it and I'm going to talk about it. It's the art on it is the art and the colors are crazy looking. It's one of those books that just jumped at me. And this time of year, I budgeted my what I was spending on comic books, and really didn't want to back a whole lot of stuff. But luckily, like I said, they all had extras, so that was good. So Freddy's going to try astral projection now. Just don't show up here in space. Your spirit could get lost, and then you'll be stuck in space. But yeah, I've got I wanted to talk about a couple things real quick. Let's pull this up here. And one is Legends of the Lone Wolf. This is of course my book that I'm working on. The last couple stories to come in are getting lettered, so we're hoping that by next month we'll be able to start getting this thing printed and shipped out. I'm still printing the little things. I've got to print the trading cards next and get the magnets and all that stuff together. So just hang in there. We are really close to $7,000, and once we hit $7,000, that's when everybody gets bumper stickers. So you're getting a 110 page book for $20, with a bunch of extra stuff. So if you haven't, go check this out. I'm pretty proud of it. It's going to be a really killer book. The cover here is by Bruce Padnaud. Here's some art by J. Paul Sheik. Here's Jameson McCran. There's Meor. Let's see. For some reason, these aren't showing up now. But we had Marshall Lee and some other stuff. I'll have to get on there and fix the page. Apparently, I don't know why it's went away. But if you haven't read issue 1, the black and white edition is free right here. You can click on it and download it. Go check it out. It's pretty cool. I wrote it. I'm pretty proud of it. Pretty cool little book. But one thing I wanted to talk about, we got some questions in the chat here. Let me pull this screen down here and we'll talk about this for a second. So, Matt C says, Doug Garrett, did you write all the stories in the anthology? No, I did not. I wrote 2 of the stories, and then all the other stories have different writers. We've got Kenneth Brown on there. We got Cal Jameson. Both those dudes have stuff out. Cal Jameson has Shinobi Sasquatch. Kenneth Brown had a book come out. For some reason, it's escaping me, even though I've read part of it, and it's a really good book. Go follow Kenneth on Twitter. Let's see, who else? Crypto Comics wrote a story. There's so many people that it escapes my mind. Michael something, he did The Abductables. A lot of them's listed on here. All these guys came together and did this without any promise of payment. It was just an idea I threw out because I was having to wait to get issue 2 started. And I was like, hey, what if we did an anthology and you guys all kind of did a story, based on my character, and they all wanted to do it. And I really wish we could have made more money so that I could pay everybody, but pretty much you're just going to get a book with lots of really cool extras. Everybody was really cool with that. So yeah, there's that. Let's pull open this other book here. This is what I was wanting to talk about. I got this yesterday. This is Mary Sue by George Alexopoulos. And George, he's a good guy. I like George. I've talked to him on some streams. I've talked to him in DMs and stuff. He's a really good guy. The guy absolutely blew me away with this book. I got issue 1 and 2 in the mail. George started up some controversy a while back when he talked about buying his own printer and printing his own comics, and he got made fun of for like a week, and people said that his book was going to be terrible. Both those books are very, very nice quality. They're just as good as what I paid for Lone Wolf issue 1 from Mixum Printing. His book is just as good quality. His colors are insane. His artwork is insane. We'll look at a little bit of it here. And one thing here is the display colors are different than what come on the book. The colors in the book are actually more vibrant. The way I describe this book, it's almost like reading a cartoon. I could see this as an animated feature. This is something, honestly, if this gets in the right hands, we will see an animated version of this in the next 5-6 years. When I was reading this, it transcended comic book. It was crazy. There's so much movement in George's art. There's so much color. Like, look, the colors here, that's vibrant, that's cool. But when you get into scenes like this, the colors there are insane, and these colors show up on the pages. I mean, it's crazy. Now, some of the art's a little bit different here. I noticed the colors and stuff than what ended up being printed, but I honestly think it looks better in the book than what he has posted here. But the character is so alive. They're so expressive. You can really see his manga influence. But like the action is good. That's where you see a lot of the movement. Like this here, when I'm reading this, the movement, there's no stiff characters. There's nothing stiff in this book. It's like it just moves. It flows like water through the book. I don't know if I can express what you see. You see it here on the screen and it looks great, but when you see it on the page, it blows you away. And George is talking about trying to do some stuff black and white so we can do it faster, but this is so mind-blowing to me. It looks so amazing. Anybody who talks about George's art and says that it's garbage or that it's no good or it's SJW and that stuff is a freaking moron. And I'll challenge you to a fist fight. This is amazing. The colors are amazing. The artwork is amazing. And it's got a good story. I was instantly sucked in. The character is funny. She's a bit neurotic. And I was instantly pulled in wanting to know more about the character. It seems like when you get the first book finished, it's everything has just started. You're like, I've already finished this book. There's got to be more. And then you've got pages like this. And you might, I almost didn't back this book. The only thing I ever looked at was the cover. And I saw the cover up here, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's whatever. Doesn't seem like my kind of thing. And then I started seeing some of this artwork. Dave in the chat says this is available now. Yes, Dave. He is actually, after he shipped out all the Indiegogo orders, it's available on Etsy. I shared the link. He's got the link posted on Twitter, so go check that out. You can say, well, you're just a butt kisser or whatever. George's artwork is what really spoke up to me. It's not what side George is on. It's not what George stands for, any of this stuff. It's the skill. I mean, this is good. You might not like it. It might not be your thing, but this just spoke to me. This absolutely blows me away. So, definitely go check this out. I can't recommend it enough. Even if the story's not your thing, which I think it's got a good story so far, because we're just getting started. The artwork, this page right here is probably one of my favorite pages. That one and this one. And what's funny is this here is actually different in the book. But this has remained. The colors are different. But go check it out. I can't say enough good things about this book. This and Soul Finder. Soul Finder is probably my favorite story-wise. I really enjoyed the writing in Soul Finder. But I think artwork-wise that Mary Sue is my favorite. So let's check up here with the chat and see what everybody's saying. Let's see. Matt C says, can't wait to get my copy of Mary Sue. It's in the mail, counting those days. Yeah, I was really looking forward to it, and I had the tracking number, so I've been watching it. And Dave says the gold foil's hand placed on the cover. That's right. He printed the book, did all that stuff, put the gold foil on it, did quite a few test copies. It's really, really, it's really good. And then we got Sam popping in and says, hey, I'm late. Yeah, and he says the book looks so good, and he's exactly right. Pocket Jack Comics says, good looking book. Let's see, what else? Reese says George is on fire, but his print prices are still pretty high. Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to offer what big printers offer as far as price-wise goes, because he's not going to be able to just produce it in volume, and he's one guy. But if you wanted to do like a short special run or something, it might be worth it. But for him printing his own books, he's got to come out ahead on that. So that works good for him. Matthew Reese also posted the link there for Mary Sue, so go check that out. Let's see. Ashton Jackal says merit is all that matters. That's exactly right. I don't care how you feel about George or what he stands on or what he says. As far as when it comes to work and story and all that stuff, the dude absolutely knocked it out of the park. He can brag about whatever he wants to because he did all that work himself. I mean, when you get the book in your hand, he made the whole book. So he didn't just write the story and do the art and do the colors. He printed the freaking book himself. That's pretty crazy. Sam says the story premise is good. And Freddie Primo says, oh, he has the Sauce Sheep poster too. Yeah, the back of the second issue has a Sauce Sheep drawing on it, which is pretty cool. Matthew Reese says Soul Finder is amazing. The story in Soul Finder absolutely blew me away. It just that was one that really just sucked me in. And I liked him, and I liked Tim's art, but I feel like the art didn't matter. I feel like anybody could have drew that book, and the story was so good that it was there. We got Pixel Trader in the chat. What's up, buddy? Pixel Trader is an awesome dude. He has been a good guy and a good friend to me when I needed him. Back in the day, he put Lone Wolf on IndieCron for me. He's a good dude. Glad to see him there in the chat. And he says, so much blue. And Sam says, blue is the best color. The king of colors. Ashton Jackal says, speaking of merit, still no frog book. Sorry about that, buddy. I can make you a book and send it to you if you want. I'll draw a frog on it. I'm supposed to be getting a copy of that sometime or another. And we're going to do a special review of that book. I'm trying to do, that was me talking about Mary Sue was my review for today. So I'll read something else, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Maybe a little late tomorrow. I've got a first aid class. I've got to take first aid and CPR. I have to have that for my job. And apparently my certification runs out the 15th or something like that. So I've got to do that. Matthew Reese says, Soul Finder and the writing, you're not wrong, but Liam's art is next level now. Tim did a really good job, and I loved his art in it, but I don't know, the story just really had me in that one. No disrespect to Tim's art, but the writing just had a hold of me there on that one. Sam says, eager for White Lily, so I can get the whole series in one swoop. Oh, he says number 5. Yeah, I'm more the guy. I'm kind of waiting, especially when a dude cranks out work a lot. I like to pick up as many as I can all at one swoop. And Matthew Reese says, at Midnight Cherry TV, Doug's make the best comics. Well, that's so far seems like most Dougs do. I can't really, I'm pretty proud of my comic, but it's not fair for me to talk about how good it is because I'm kind of biased. Pixel Trader says, I didn't back Soul Finder at the time, was a little tight on funds, but I was able to back George's campaign. Looking forward to the physical presentation. Yeah, man, there's a lot of books I missed, like I was talking about earlier. I think Doug Ernst has a lot of copies left over, or has some, or will print some, or whatever. So if anybody wants to grab his book, be sure to message him. A lot of these guys are the same way. They have extras of stuff. So be sure to message them if you missed out on it. Pocket Jacks Comics says pencils are almost done on White Lily number 5. So he'll have that book out before long. Like I said, I'm going to try to pick them all up in one swoop. I don't know what I have that I'm waiting on coming in. I know I'm waiting for Hero to get finished. That's one I'm looking forward to. And I really can't wait to get Legends of Lone Wolf finished because all 24 pages of Lone Wolf issue 2 are penciled. So Jameson's going to start inking that. We're going to do some streams where he's inking pages and we talk about nonsense. But, we're going to try to get that out here pretty soon. I'm in talks with an artist to do Psychotron. But, I'm short on funds and I didn't know if I wanted to try to crowdfund. Seems like crowdfunding kind of a spotty thing to do right now, so I didn't know. And Matthew Reese says I should have an announcement for a third quarter project coming up soon. That's awesome. Always looking for some cool projects to talk about. Midnight Cherry says I'm only waiting for Legends of Lone Wolf. The rest I consider a loss. Well, a lot of people don't like to get refunds, but I don't care to ask for a refund. If somebody's taking a real long time and they don't post updates, and then when I do ask them if they're rude about it, I don't care to ask for a refund. I try to do an update every month on Legends of the Lone Wolf. I don't want people to feel like, we're just going to take the money and run off. Dave says do a bake sale. I was thinking about doing a Patreon, but I don't know what to offer every month for people who might be interested in that. Pixel Trader says about half of the 50 I've backed I'm still waiting for. Tonic Mole, his book Saving the World crowdfunding should kick off in February. I've seen quite a bit of the art. He's shared some of it in the group and he's posted some of it. that's going to be a fun book. So you definitely need to, if you're not following Tonic Mole on Twitter, go follow him and be on the lookout for his book. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. Oh man, so many cool people with some cool projects coming out. And what kind of stinks is I feel like, you know, a lot of the people who have been keeping their heads down and working and trying to get something to come out with, they're going to be plagued by people not wanting to back books because they haven't got all these other books that they backed. Midnight Cherry says half of those I would expect to be doxxed with a refund. To be honest, yeah, seems like a lot of people with bad attitudes out there. I don't like bad attitudes. I just don't. I don't get that. Pocket Jack's Comics is an exciting time in indie comics. You're exactly right. There's some poop heads out there trying to ruin things, but it seems like there is a group that just want to make comics, and the more they keep making comics and putting them out there and putting forth the hard work, I think that it'll grow. So we've got Mallet in the chat. What's up? Nice to see you here. He says nice to have you on during lunch. Well, I hope you enjoy your lunch. And then we got the Drunken Deity in here. Hey, nice to have you back. Sam says dox me if you want. I don't care. That's like me. A lot of people go crazy about doxing, but I use my real name. It's not that hard to find my address where I live. Go ahead and dox me. You don't know where I work. I don't share that stuff. You can drive to my house if you want to. We can have a fist fight out there in the yard, or I can shoot you, or whatever you want. Whatever kind of crazy stuff you want to come up with, we can throw down. We can do it. I don't care. You know, if you want to come over and play video games, and we can get a little Caesar's pizza for $5 and watch some TV. Doesn't matter. I'm pretty easy to get along with. Mallet says, I'm a poop head now. Well, I'd heard things, but I didn't know for sure. Sam says, no one's going to show up at my doorstep because of comics all the way here in Scandinavia. Yeah, I don't think nobody'll show up here. I'm way out in the middle of nowhere, and you start down these roads, and you're going to get lost, and you're going to get freaked out. Pixel Trader says, best thing newcomers can do, show more complete work before they launch the campaign. Knowing how close the book is to completion will likely instill more confidence to buy. I totally agree. That's why on Lone Wolf issue 2, we want to have all the pages inked. You know, I'll probably show off some inked pages and be getting the book colored. So, whatever. I wanted to make sure most of it was done before we ever started. Pretty much it's going to be a crowdfunder because I want most of the book done. So let's see. Tonic Mole says we can raise money with caged fights at Doug's. That's right. Just show up and we'll bet money on who will win, and we'll have some cage fights. Jeremy Lott says, what the heck am I seeing? Have you, Jeremy, this is what happens when you don't show up on the regular. I am in outer space. I transmit from space. This is my thing now. I've transcended the world. While you guys are talking about World War III, I'm up here in space trying to fight space battles. So when the world blows up and you guys don't buy my comic books anymore, I'll sell them to the Martians who live beneath the surface on Mars. That's just how it is. Sam says, some say that you should have half the book finished before launching a campaign. Not sure if it's feasible for many. Yeah, like on Psychotron, the artist I want to use, it's going to cost me $100 a page. And I don't have, if I do 5 or 6 pages, that's $500-$600 out of pocket, and I just don't have the money to do that. So we got Rumble Terrier there in the chat. What's up, Rumble? Let's see what else we got here. Tonic Mole says I made sure to have my comic to print first so I wouldn't have a nervous breakdown. Mallet says I'm getting fake space sickness. Jeremy Lott says, do you have the power cosmic? I do not have the power cosmic, but you know, I'm better than humans, so I'm like the perfect human. I've evolved past all the rest of you weak, small people. Freddie Primo says, I'm still on the astral plane, Doug. Well, then you're picking this up in your mind instead of using YouTube. Hashtag Cosmic Doug. Doug, do you wear socks and sandals in space? I don't wear sandals because I'm not a hippie. I'd rather just not wear sandals at all, especially with socks. Freddie Primo says, I am Doug, Herald of Galactus. Galact Doug, Eater of Worlds, says Midnight Cherry. Pixel Trader, talking about paying for money out of pocket, says, yeah, going out of pocket for the book can hurt, and it's a bit of a catch-22 for crowdfunding. Need work to fund, need funds to work. Exactly. Like I said, that's... the script for Psychotron is probably my favorite thing I've ever written. I've got a design from an artist and it looks amazing, but it just I can't pay that money out of pocket. Pixel also says, do they hold Tupperware parties in virtual space? We sure do, and next time we have one, you're all invited. Freddie Primo says, my mind is monetized now. Midnight Cherry says, how does the like and share algorithm work on the astral plane? I don't know. I've transcended such mortal things as algorithms and super chats. There's no super chats here. They're worthless to me here in space. What am I going to do with your algorithms and your super chats? All we care about up here is comic books. We had Jeremy Lott in here earlier. I don't know if he realizes we talked about Movie Men yesterday and how it was good, fun comic book, and that when issue 2 comes out, people should get it. So that's what you get for not picking up my space transmissions, Jeremy Lott. So I've ranted from here in space for 38 minutes. It says I have 14 viewers. What are you all doing? Mallet says Model 316 gave me a follow. I guess it doesn't matter now. Dave says no super chats. All super chats. That's right, super chats here in space. Yeah, Jeremy, you missed it. Talked about a Movie Man. I really liked Movie Men. It was a lot of fun. It's one of those. I feel like you could just give it to anybody and they would have fun with it. It's not anything heavy, or disturbing or anything. It's just pure fun, and I really enjoyed that. Rumble says, "How do you get mail in space? I need to know what type of receptacle I have to smash." Yeah, please don't smash my space box. Here in space, if you smash my space box, I have to call the space cops, and then we'll have to set up a space GoFundMe. So, you know. Mallet says 38 minutes too long. Oh, totally burned. Jeremy Lott says 14 highly evolved viewers. Well, one of those viewers apparently de-evolved because we're only at 13. But hey, at least we hit a lucky number. Pocket Jack's Comics says, I'm writing Guinevere number 3. We're doing a writer workshop tonight on SWC. That is cool. Go check that out. I know These guys, some people say they're controversial. I think they're just doing their thing. It doesn't matter what you think. If you just want to hear some guys talk about writing and having a good time, go check out the SWC guys. I think they had Tim Lim and Doug Tenaple on yesterday. It's always good to listen to people talk about writing. If you want to get better, that's a good way to do it. Pixel says, gotta go slap together a quick unboxing vid. Maybe I should do that live. Totally spoils the unboxing, though. Yeah, I usually pre-record most of my unboxing videos, unless I do it on a live stream. But, I like, on live stream it gives me something to do besides talking about being in space. Mallet says, I gotta go bother Rick now. Peace out, spaceman. See you, Mallet. Hope you have a good day. Don't work too hard, buddy. In space, no one can hear you scream for super chats. That's right, Cherry. But I can send out the demand for super chats telepathically. Super chat. Well, actually, they're space chats. So, space chats. So now you all feel the need to send me space chats. Sam says, great to hear, Preston. Literally, everyone needs to check out SWC Revived. Those guys can be kind of edgelords, but a lot of what they say I agree with. I don't really care if you agree with them or not. You can still pick up some good stuff from them. People need to have more of an open mind and stop being such a snowflake. They're right about a lot of things in indie comics. Even though they're against printing comics. I'm not ever going completely digital like they says. Reese says SWC is a poop show, but they don't lie about it, and they're only 2/3 as smug as they pretend to be. Yeah, that's something you got to realize if you ever listen to those guys. That is those are personas. That's just their show. That's what they do. People need to realize that that's what they do. But a lot of what they say is right, and you can learn a lot. Anybody that wants to talk about writing and point out things, and criticize. So, whatever. Matt C says SWC is anti-CG war campaign, and I won't hear different. Sorry, lads. Well, see, Matt, that's where I disagree. I've never seen those guys put dildos on anybody's faces. All I've seen them do is criticize people, and War Campaign does different. So, like I said, if you want to go watch War Campaign and you like dildos on people's faces, go ahead, go for it. I don't care what anybody does. You can like whatever you like. I don't really care. I'm just going to talk about comic books I like and promote people that are good to me, and everybody else can kiss my butt. So that's just how I feel about it. I could care less about CG anymore. I was let known last year by some prominent CG figures that I wasn't wanted. They told me my book was low quality. I had a dude who's a huge, who's still one of the big guys in Comicsgate, who likes to talk a bunch of crap now. Pretty much run me down behind the scenes. So, CG can kiss my butt. They ran me off. They run everybody off. So, but, I know I'm still friends with plenty of people who want to be CG, which I don't understand. They're the same guys that people are going, well, why won't the big guys have these guys on their channel? Their book looks good. Why won't these guys do this? They're CG. Well, no, they're not. They used the label and they want to be in that crowd, but they're not in the crowd. Those guys don't want people in the crowd. Yeah, just so for clarity there, it was Malin. And Malin's done it to tons of guys on, they won't come out and say it in public, but I've talked to a bunch of them. He runs them down and talks a bunch of crap about them behind the scenes, and if he was to say something on Twitter that he doesn't like, he'll turn all of CG against you. And it's kind of funny because he had everybody come after me, even Mike Miller, and now he's turned against Mike Miller. And, you know, you want to hang out with people like that, it's kind of what you get. Yeah, well, everybody's arguing about SWC, and a lot of people don't like Preston either. Pocket Jack Comics. I think their stuff's funny. It's just a different. Well, here's my thing too. I don't take any of this crap serious. I don't care. I don't care about any of it. All them guys can eat poop. I got my book funded without any of the big guys helping me. All they've done is talk crap about me and had streams where they talk crap about me and all that stuff. So they can, like Jeremy Lott says, they can kiss my space butt. I just want to talk about people who've been good, who are friends, people who promote comics. We've got Jeremy Lott, we got Tim Lim, we got George Alexopoulos, we got Joey Turnage. Matt, see, don't worry about it. We can all be the funny thing is here, we can all disagree here in this chat. I guarantee you can disagree with anybody here in this chat, and they will talk to you and treat you with respect and talk to you like a human being. You don't have to worry about somebody posting a dildo on your face and trying to get back to you or dox you. Now, I'd almost guarantee you that. These are the kind of people that I'd rather surround myself with. But talking about other good creators, even though some of them still want to be CG, even though I really think they should just distance themselves from a tag. A lot of these indie guys could stand on their own without a tag. Now, see here in the chat, Matt C and Pocket Jack Comics. Let's talk about this one-on-one sometime. That's what I like, and you guys talk about that. Talk about whatever you want to. Everybody here is cool people. Mallet says, I disagree with Cherry sometimes. I disagree with a lot of things sometimes, but when it comes down to it, who I can disagree with and them still be respectful means a lot. Matt C says, thanks, buddy. You're cool. I like everyone here. I do too. And that's one thing I learned last year from Comicsgate. I thought that it was a bunch of indie guys who just wanted an alternative to the mainstream, you know, and I thought that we all could talk and have opinions and disagree and still be cool, and I was proved wrong. So, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I like to be able to speak my mind. We don't have to agree with everybody. You can't agree with people 100% of the time. And I don't have to agree with everybody. And I don't want to agree with everybody. And if you're friends with somebody I don't like, that's between you and them. Matt Reese says, I have called out almost everyone in the chat from time to time except Doug, because Doug has never been wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong some of the times. But I try to keep an open mind. You're never going to grow if you believe yourself to be superior and never wrong. Freddie Primo says you're not in the astral plane, Cherry. You're in purgatory. That's right. Cherry says, I don't agree with anyone. Anyone not in the astral realm can kick rocks. Well, see, I've transcended all your human arguments and whatnot. I'm superior. We've got 16 viewers. Jeremy Lott says, "When did I get called out?" Now, see, me and Jeremy Lott have had disagreements before and talked at length about things, and I still think Jeremy Lott is one of the coolest guys out there. And not everybody has to agree. Not everybody has to be friends. We don't all have to be friends with the same people. That's something I don't understand. It's like if you're not friends with so and so, then you can't be on my show and blah blah blah. I'm tired of drama and a bunch of sad bull mess. So I've been trying to talk about good comics and good creators. Some of my favorite dudes, like I was getting ready to say a few minutes ago before I got distracted, and they still want to kind of use the CG label, and I kind of wish they wouldn't. But you got Cal Jameson, who wrote a story in my book. I believe the dude could transcend CG. He's got a great looking book, and he's a good writer, and he actually helped me out on Cyclotron. He's a cool guy. And same thing with Macho Dan and Muttman. I love those guys, but I wish all those guys would stand on their own and stop trying to buddy up with a hashtag movement. The only hashtag we all should be using is indie comics. We all don't have to fly under the same banner. That's one reason that I wanted to distance myself from CG, was the fact that I didn't want people speaking for me, especially people on their 6-hour live streams whining and crying about stuff that I didn't care about. I didn't want to have to use a hashtag or be a part of a movement where I was associated with stuff like that. Pretty much, I speak for me. Matt Reese says, I think Cal officially dropped the label in December. He might have. I've seen some posts, which it's so weird. I follow so many people on Twitter, and it's like I'll notice that I stop seeing their posts, so I'll go look, and I'm not following them anymore. So I don't know with my big monkey thumbs if I accidentally unfollow tons of people or what. But I'll go looking for people. It's like, I haven't seen a post from so-and-so in a long time. And I'll go look and I'll be unfollowed. So that kind of, I noticed it's done that from Cal 2 or 3 times. He has a backup account. It never unfollows the backup account, but it unfollows his main account. And I've got friends who don't agree with Cal, and Cal says things I don't agree with from time to time. But I'm not going to hold none of that against him. I don't have to agree with him. I don't have to like everything he does. He's always been good to me, and that's what matters. He's never crapped on me. Jeremy Lott says Twitter sometimes unfollows people on your behalf. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Cherry says soft block is how you get unfollowed usually. Like if you mute somebody or something. I don't mute people. I don't like muting people unless I unfollow them or I've never been following them and they keep people keep sharing it. It keeps popping up in my timeline. I'll mute them then. But most people I don't like, I go ahead and just block them. I would rather somebody unfollow me than hit the mute button, because at least then maybe they'll see my post and refollow me at some point. Matt Reese says, Cal and I had a dust up yesterday because I was accidentally rude. It happens. I've had a dust up with people that I like and friends with just because words. You get no context for words sometimes and they come across weird. Jeremy Lott says that happens when Adam Lane Smith unfollowed me. When he figured it out, he apologized. And I was like, no problem, Blow. Cherry says you can block and unblock immediately and it unfollows them from you. Oh, yeah, I've done that. I've had people follow me. I've done that to quite a few people, actually. Especially people who are poop heads that I don't like. Mallet says I have a monkey for a head. Well, that's That's weird. The Drunken Deity says I've had to refollow people several times. I have too, and it's the same people. It's like, where did they go? Where are they? And I have to refollow them. It's like, when you're following like 700-800 people, it's hard to keep up with everybody. And I like to keep up with a lot of people. That's one reason I miss out on some of these books. People just start showing up, and if it's not in front of my face all the time, I'll forget. I'm super forgetful. I forget stuff all the time. Like, most of my bills are set to auto pay, because if they're not, I won't go pay them because I just don't remember. That's just how I am. We've had some good discussion on here today. Got good people in the chat. Malice says, I like to unfollow and refollow. It's fun. I don't like to do that. I like to block and then see people complain about it. Had a dude who had me muted complain because I blocked him. Thing is, when he muted me, I didn't know it. I didn't know he didn't want to see my post. But when I blocked him, he knew immediately I didn't want to see his post. Reese says, I don't care if the poop heads follow me. I'm not hiding, and they can stand and read the truth bomb. I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I think what it is I like being a poop head. Like I said, I like for them to cry when I block them or unfollow them or all this stuff. Freddie Primo says social media was a mistake for the most part. You are 100% right. Completely right. Mallet says, I'm confused. I've lost the context here. Anyways, I've been streaming for nearly an hour. 57 minutes. That's 57 minutes too long. Matthew Reese says, I think society was largely a mistake. I agree with that as well. Whenever we had one place start beaming their ideologies into our homes and telling us what we should think and what's normal and all this stuff, that's when society went wrong. When we could all live and respect each other's choices and go to different churches and have different beliefs in different communities, it was fine. But then you got Hollywood beaming their ideology, which is the ideology of less than 1% of the country, beaming their crap into people's homes. Society starts to fall apart. When can we start a doomsday prepping community? Let's start one now. I have lots of guns. I have knives. I live way out in the middle of the woods. We can have a commune, and we can all live there. We can pretend we're Rainbow. I need to go out in the woods and build me a cabin anyways. Be some good exercise because I'm fat. I'm getting old. Matt C says, come on lads, we still got this. Just produce and build a positive alternative. I agree. That's a good thing. Jeremy Lott says, but is there really time on the astral plane? Well, not really. All time is flows like water. Jeremy Lott says, now I want to do a comic about a doomsday prepping community. You should. I want to see people do all kind of comics. You guys don't know how excited I get to see about when I see my friends make comics, and especially about different things. Like, I mean, come on, Jeremy with Movie Men. Who else was going to have that concept about kids working in a theater having to fight movie monsters? That's a pretty good concept. That's something different. And I like seeing these concepts. Something Real is another one of my favorites. The kid has to fight the boogeyman, which I kind of like anyways because it reminds me of the Ghostbusters cartoon where the Ghostbusters had to fight the boogeyman. It keeps showing up in kids' bedroom. That's one of my favorite things. Dave says Astro Train is greater than Astral Plane. I agree. Astro Train is the best. Cherry says I come up with a good idea 3 or 4 times a day. You just have to read the chats I'm in. Mallet says I had that idea. He stole it. Matthew Reese says hashtag Hermit Lives Matter. Dude, I'm ready to become a hermit. I've actually been thinking about buying me a nice chainsaw and going back here and building a cabin. Just cutting down crap and building like an old school type cabin and just hanging out back there with my guns, shooting stuff, taking Axel, walking back there. Which I think he likes it when I stream because he lays on his bed over and sleeps all day. Little bum. Oh well, we've had some good discussion here in the chat today. Still got 12 viewers. That's pretty cool. I appreciate everybody stopping by. We've had a good one. Like I said, tomorrow I don't know if I'll be able to stream or not. I've got stupid CPR class. Mallet says I built a cabin for my kids twice. I don't have any kids. I just have a dog. So I'll go build a cabin for me and him. Because that would be fun. But I need to message Matthew Reese and see if he wants to come on Friday. Me and him will talk about a bunch of nonsense, and maybe he's got some ideas and he can give some updates on his book. So it's been over an hour. I'm gonna get off here and take the dog out for a walk. I appreciate y'all stopping by, and come back tomorrow. We'll talk some more. We'll talk about a bunch of random bull mess and talk about people we don't like and things we do like, and talk about Sega Genesises. I got NBA Jam right here. Yeah. Sam says good stream, best turnout in a while, but yes, guests are needed. I agree. We need to get some guests in here. We need to get Sam back on the show here before long. Dave says go eat Scrapple. No, Dave. No. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk at you later. Bye.